You want to know what the hardest part about covering games like this is? Terrible ones, trashy ones? It's when they don't have any content in them. That makes it very difficult to be entertaining. So, for this video, I'm gonna do my best, but I don't know if I can make it very good. We're gonna find out. Gamers Unknown Survival is the worst game ever. I struggle to call it a video game because there's barely anything to do and it hardly functions. Granted, it's not officially released yet, and he says he's working on an entirely new map, but if this is what you're showing off to people right now, well, that's not really a good idea. Now, before we go further into it, I want to talk about my history with the developer, because I do have one. This was developed by Jakey.exe or Yakey.exe. I don't know foreign languages, there's always going to be a barrier there. Well, the last time I covered this game, it was because the developer had DMCA'd a video by a YouTuber named Road85. I was very negative and critical towards the developer, and that is probably going to carry over into a personal bias when I'm covering this game. So there you go, it's out there, you can just deal with that however you want to. So normally this is the part where I'd say, take a look at the main menu. Decide for yourself, is this game going to be any good? Well, I can't do that. This is one of those Unity survival asset flips, and yes, this is Ultimate Survival, by the way, that just plops you into the game without telling you anything at all. So that's an awesome first impression, and I'm sure the rest of the game is going to be fantastic. The first thing you do in Gamers Unknown Survival, the game that is blatantly ripping off Spyro 3, is walk downstairs and try to pick up an axe that was used in the trailer, but you can't because there's no way to do so. I literally stood there and pressed every single button on my keyboard and nothing happened. So that's a little bit confusing because without that axe, I can't get any wood. I'd also like to point out that axe wouldn't really work properly because the safety cover is still on it. You might want to get a different axe model so you're not hitting a tree with plastic. I grew up in the mountains in Canada, believe me, I know this stuff. So I went outside, found a nearby pickaxe in a box, and started beating these chickens to death because one of them seemed to be presenting itself to me. And yes, of course I tried beating that cat to death because it was annoying me, but it seems to only be there because lol, so random. Then I went to sleep and discovered the player character has no lower body. I think that's the theme of the game though, because the next morning I discovered that half the map was also missing. So I wandered around the parts of the map that decided to exist until I found these boars. And dear God, they don't mess around. So after I respawned, I walked 4 feet in the other direction from my house and discovered these zombies, but they didn't discover me. I followed this one around, slowly quoting National Geographic lines in my head until he eventually noticed me when I stepped literally 2 feet in front of him. Well, I guess not literally 2 feet because I'm missing half my body, but you know what I mean. I found a bow and arrow and I killed some of the zombies and stuff with it, but I couldn't really do anything else because, like I said, that axe wouldn't work, so I couldn't get wood, which is like half the major components for crafting in this game aside from stone. There's no sticks on the ground or anything either, so I really don't know what I was supposed to do. So I'm pretty sure Gamers Ultimate Survival doesn't work in its current state. That being said, I can't wait until this game officially hits early access and we finally get the update that adds elemental fury attacks. This is gonna be the Spyro game that PC players always wanted. I'd also like to point out that whoever's giving away keys for this game doesn't seem to know how Steam keys or Keymailer works. When you go to Keymailer, you get this handy dandy little screen before you get your Steam key that says, hey, there's an NDA for the game, or sometimes they just thank you for your interest. Well, whoever was giving out keys for this game decided to put some codes right on that screen itself, but the problem is those codes don't update, so everyone who got keys for this game got the exact same code, so none of them on this screen work. Thankfully, the one that Keymailer did themselves works properly because they know what they're doing. And on the topic of the developer, I would also strongly advise against issuing any more DMCA takedown notices or doing anything else scummy because we are starting to notice. And yes, that does include purging your Steam forums. Now look, I understand that this guy might have wanted to make a terrible, crappy game as a joke for his subscribers and viewers, but at the same time, I've done very similar things, but I've always released them for free. This is going to be an official release on Steam, and it's not of any sufficient quality to be on the service, in my opinion. So instead of buying Gamers Unknown Survival, I would highly recommend you go over to my itch.io page and play Smorshing Good Time. Or heck, even that terrible fan-made game of mine. Because at least when you release stuff like that for free, you can have no shame while still not wasting people's time.